Ugh.
Live explosion.
We live. Shit's cray.
You mean
What?
live.
Live from not New York. What's up, everybody?
Right.
This is Rated M for Podcast, your favorite video game podcast, and also a part of the Rated M Gaming Network, but you knew that already. Last weekend was Oscar Sunday, so we sure didn't record an episode for that reason and other reasons, but who gives a shit? It's March 1st, 2015, and I'm your host, Drew. With me, as always, is Alex.
Yep, that's me.
Good job, Alex.
Splendid.
And that there Rory guy.
What's up, everybody?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh, I fucked it up. We talked about this last week. I should have said Rory
I know.
first.
I know.
I was a little taken off guard there. I was like, wait a second. I was all prepped, and then you said Alex's name first.
That's the thing is like I wasn't prepped because I usually run on what Warriors got going on. So
I know, it's fucked up. You know what was so messed up about that? It threw everything. It has created a ripple now because I had planned to yell out "spoon" from the tick, but alas, no, it didn't.
Well, you've done it now. You've said it now. So this week we had a bunch of plans, but we're gonna have to cut this short. So you're getting part one of a planned two-part episode that are those two parts aren't even related. So don't even worry about that. But I do want to kick this off by starting off by saying the word "off" too many times. Next week is our 1-year anniversary. Huzzah! Cheers!
Yay!
Explosions.
get excited.
Next week is our 1-year anniversary, so we don't even know what the fuck we're doing, but we do know that we're going to be doing some shit. And one of those shits is a live recording of Rated M for Podcast on Twitch, where we're going to get you, the listeners, viewers, community members, homeboys, pizza sign spinners, and everybody involved.
It's gonna be pizza.
Well,
Just
pizza signs,
signs that point you to pizza, and they spin.
All right, I mean, as long
Thanks
as
to a
I'm
man
direction
in
to
a
go in.
suit, though.
Yeah. Wacky inflatable arm filling tube, man. He's invited too. No, so we're going to get you all involved, and it's going to be just a whole day of video games and Twitch and all kinds of crazy cool stuff. So we hope you guys are excited as we are to hit this milestone. A lot of you guys have been with us the whole year, and you need to go get your head checked. Because you fucked
wrong with you.
So this week's topic is going to be are video game reviews important? And why don't we kick off this show like we always do with what you playing? Alex, what you playing?
Man, so I've been playing that Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me get a pillow, guys. Wake me up when Alex is done talking about.
That's right, baby. It's not just an Alex segment. It's an Alex segment about Elder Scrolls. So just fucking pack it in. No, I've decided. I mean, with the game's going to be going, whatever the fuck. It's removing the subscription. Okay.
Sure,
next month, and then hitting consoles in June. So there's some big changes coming with the content and stuff to the game. So I figured I'd go back and check it out. I've also been playing some of this. Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
For the 3DS.
It's pretty rad. I'm enjoying it. I'm not far enough to really talk too much about it. I mean, they've changed a couple things around, which is great. I'm carrying Majora's Mask in my pocket, which is awesome. So there's really nothing else to say.
Okay, cool. Rory, what have you been playing?
First of all, I'm in shock. That was like record time right there.
I did it just for you, Roy.
I haven't been playing much this past week. Mostly Dying Light. I'm finally at the 75% complete mark. I'm hoping I can just finish it tonight because I think realistically that's only maybe 3 or 4 more missions. There's probably not a ton to do there. Finish up some side quests and have a good time with it. But I've been loving that game, but I'm looking forward to just sort of putting an end to the campaign and finishing something else that I haven't finished yet.
Does it feel too long?
No, absolutely not. I feel like it's moving at a good pace. It's only because I just haven't been able to put a ton of gaming time in, even over the past couple weeks in general. So
that's how I've been with Far Cry 4. I really wish I was playing more right now, but
Far Cry 4 is one where I kind of started losing interest in it earlier than I expected and moved on to another game. Whereas Dying Light, I'm just slowly getting to it because I haven't had the time. But my interest is at its max every time I do play it because the game opens up, it gets better and better. You get to new areas later in the game. The zombies really get intense. and the gameplay does just sort of get tighter and better as your parkour stuff increases and improves. But yeah, it's a great fucking game so far. You know, it's easy to argue that it's the best game of 2015 so far. I know it's early in, obviously, right? But I really like it, and I think it's going to be.
It's your favorite game of 2015 so far.
I think it's a really good start. Yeah, like I don't know, it's a great game early in this year, and I'm happy about that. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I expected it to be, you know, decent. You know, at least an improvement from Dead Island, which I enjoyed, even though I wouldn't objectively say they were great games. I had fun with them though. But I think Dying Light objectively is a great game.
What else? What else you got?
Nothing. Oh, yes. No, that's not true. That's not true. It's been 2 weeks. I forget that. I did dabble in some other retro stuff.
In the notes here, you have Space Harrier. What the hell is that?
And Colibri. Oh, Space Harrier. Dude, man. Like arcade, and then, of course, came out on the Genesis and stuff.
I got nothing.
You're the guy, and you can, like, run on the ground, jump in the air with the jetpack. It's like an on-rail shooter in a sense, like going through this.
Commando?
Oh man, no! You're so fucked up that you don't know Space Harrier. I don't even have to. I'm not even going to explain it to you. You have to go look it up.
Drew, go
all right.
I'm going to play some more on my Twitch channel. But yeah, that game is fucking awesome. Like it's one of those old retro games that you boot up and genuinely holds up, and you're just like, fuck yeah. And all I could think when I was playing it was, I would love to see, even if it's like a downloadable, you know, $15, $20 title, like an updated Space Harrier. Exact same concept. Do not change much gameplay-wise. Just keep it tight, fast, over the top.
$15, really?
Well, dude, if it's a good fucking game with like on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you know, using the capabilities, and it's fast-paced, 60 frames per second, like tight, competitive controls that you're just reaching for the high score leaderboards online.
I'd play shit out of that.
Dude. Like a purely intense arcade experience built just off of the model of that original game was. I would be all over that thing.
So what the fuck is Colibri?
All right, real quick, it's a side-scrolling 2D shooter where you play as a hummingbird, and you can like get different projectile upgrades. So you have like your spread gun, like Contra, and lasers and shit like that. It's fucking weird. I honestly wasn't enjoying that much and didn't play very much.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I played the Scream Ride demo, and that shit is actually legit, dude. It's broken up into 3 pieces. In Scream Ride, you can ride, so you can actually like control how fast you go. You can brake. You can lean everybody. So if you lean into a corner, you'll go faster through the corner, or if you kind of lean out, you'll actually kind of pop to the side. And you want to try to get like. You want to be going fast. You want to get boosts. There's
you want to fear the riders, right?
Yeah. And it's so crazy. Like you kind of get like a Trials vibe when you're riding, because you want to hit everything perfectly, get all the boosts, and then at the end like boost all the way off and get these points for scaring them and flipping them sideways, but not like flying them off the track. So that's like its own little version, like part of the game. And then in the demo, you can go to the next part, which is it's this arm with this like rotating slingshot type thing that you can speed up or slow down, and you can aim and like point which way you want it to kind of like direct, and you have to release at just the right time so that when the arm swings around, you release the catapult, the little ball or whatever that has the fucking riders in it, and they go flying into buildings, and it just destroys these buildings. But in these buildings, there's also like explosive red barrels and shit that like and you get like points for blowing up the most buildings at once. Whatever, you're just demolishing a city with these people, and there's different kinds of barrels. Like one of them is just a hard ball that kind of like breaks more stuff when it hits it. It like hits with more impact. But then one of them is like a pill shape, and that one you can hit A after you launch it, and it explodes and breaks into multiple pieces. I mean, it's just this like fun breaking thing. What's that, Racketeer? I didn't play Racketeer.
Oh yeah, the Kinect game,
like
right?
that. Yeah, it's like. It's that concept of just throwing shit into a physics puzzle. It's like fucking Angry Birds. Like, there's a whole section of this game that is basically Angry Birds but cooler.
All right.
There's explosions and shit.
How deep did you get into the track building? Is that what you're going to talk about
so
right now?
in the demo, I got to the track building, but I had to go to work.
Oh.
But it's so intuitive. It's so easy. I made, like, you can just make this thing spin and twist and do all this stuff, and then you can hit autocomplete, and then you can hit test track, and it'll show, like, where they hit like max velocity. You know, they can hit area. They'll show like, hey, your people went flying off the rails here because you didn't build it right. Or like what I hit was I made a jump or a ramp too steep, so it stalled, so that ruined the ride. So I immediately went into edit mode, put some boosts there so it ramps them up more, and then tried it again, and they went up higher. And it's so easy, intuitive, and fun. And this game is like, it's so much more fun than I thought it would be. Like it's really, I think it's going to be a surprise for everybody. I think it's out today, and it's like like $15 or something like that. I really don't remember how much it is, so don't quote me on that. But just from the demo itself, I highly recommend everybody download the demo just to try it out. But just from the demo, I could see hours and hours and hours lost to just fucking around in this game. So it looks fun.
Sweet.
I popped on Rayman Legends. I've never played a Rayman game. And I downloaded Rayman Legends for free on the Xbox One because it's the Games with Gold game. And I had to kill the app and reboot it like 3 times because when it would get to the opening cutscene, it looks like a Nintendo, like when you pop in a Nintendo game and it's like all digital, like pixel shitty fucking, like you hear what's going on but you don't see it. So I don't know what happened. So I eventually deleted it and re-downloaded it. So I actually haven't played it yet. So I still haven't played a Rayman game, but I own one now. And then Far Cry 4. Just fucking love Far Cry. I've really been into Far Cry 4. Criminally not enough time to put into it yet, but I plan on fixing that this week. Oh, and by the way, I got a job. I work at Best Buy now.
Yay, Drew's working.
Hell yeah.
That's
Everybody
awesome.
go be Gamers Unlocked or whatever they're...
Oh, get out of here. You're not selling Best Buy shit on here.
Yeah, don't you peddle your wares to me, boy.
It's pretty rad. There's stuff there that I didn't realize is involved. Like, when you get store credit and shit like that for GameStop, it's GameStop. Like, you already have whatever they want to sell you. But if you get credit for Best Buy, you can go buy a fucking soundbar or like a new headset or, you know, some fucking speakers or a blender or something. Which I started thinking about that. I was like, oh, you kind of get more out of your store credit with the games thing at Best Buy than you would at GameStop. But at the same time, I don't know. I told so many people this week about Steam. Like, people came in like, where are your PC games? I'm like, really? And then I went there and I was like, holy shit, we have Far Cry 4 on PC. Like, I didn't even know we had that. I was like, you can have this if you want it. Oh, but what if I don't want to do this? And I'm like, well, there's Steam. What's a Steam? Okay.
Man, I haven't been in the retail store and looked at the PC sections in years. I just feel like that's like obsolete now. Like it's digital for PC.
A shelf. But dude, we have everything. We have like The Sims 4 and obviously all the Blizzard titles are there and stuff.
All right, everybody, off to Best Buy you go.
It's crazy though. Like, I didn't think there'd be that much either. Like, I really didn't think there'd be that much PC stuff, but people still do that apparently. Oh. No, this week was really an education for me in what people don't know. Like, they just really, like, dude came in yesterday looking for Mad Max. The Mad Max that isn't out yet.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, yeah, no, I thought it came out last year. I was like, what led you to believe that? And I pulled up the trailer on my phone. He was like, yeah, I've seen that. And I was like, yeah,
I was stoned on my couch and I thought this movie was out.
I was like, dude, this game's not even, just leave. So that was good. So let's roll into news real quick. Like we said, we didn't do an episode last week, so we got a lot of news to do. We're running out of time. So Xbox One is getting open app support. We wanted to mention this because one of our recent episodes was about how you can't listen to music while playing video games. Well, that's about to change, so that's cool. There's more to it.
I saw that in the notes, and I was like, we talked about that before?
That was like a whole theme of one of our recent episodes. That was like this big, long tirade.
Holy shit, I must have been spaced on that one. But yeah, I'm super stoked about that news. That's awesome. Like, that was a really fucking cool thing when Xbox 360 was around. And it's still around, obviously, but like in its early days, where it's like, hey, I can like jam and play like music in here. I could even like install my CDs that I have onto my Xbox One hard drive and like build this playlist to play. That's fucking awesome. So it's great to be able to have that support back.
So there's Xbox. So one of the this is a Verge article that I found, but one of the things that it says is this has to do with Windows 10 coming to Xbox. Like Windows 10 will be on the Xbox One. So what they're basically doing is saying if you build an app for Windows 10, it works on the Xbox One also. It's a universal open app that'll work on Windows 10, whether that be on an Xbox or a tablet or a PC, or like their phones are going to be Windows 10 compatible also. So it says existing Xbox One apps will continue to run on the console, but Microsoft is planning to switch over to Universal apps in November of 2015. The switch means developers will be able to submit and publish apps in November, and they'll need to be built on the new Universal SDK or Universal Apps SDK. So they're rolling out new software development kits this year for Xbox One apps. So this is all going to lead to whatever we see now, like how Netflix works, or how YouTube works, or Pandora, or Vivo, or any of that stuff. It's all going to change or be better, hopefully, because of this. Let's see. It says, questions remain over the role of Kinect in the Xbox One app development. Microsoft recently allowed Xbox One developers to access Kinect, but some developers report anonymously that performance has been disappointing. It's not clear how Microsoft plans to support Kinect with Universal apps. So, like, remember they said that they freed up some software or some processing power last year for games and stuff like that. So I wonder if they're doing that for apps and stuff as well.
And what? But what? Some unknown developers are saying that it is unsubstantial, like.
Yeah, I think
insubstantial. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm talking about.
Insubstantial.
Well, I don't know that. I think maybe they're disappointed in what they're getting out of developing for Kinect. Like it's kind of like how like Nintendo says, hey, we have this console and do whatever you want with it, and like Nintendo's developers can make fucking Super Mario Galaxy, but every other game on the Nintendo looks like shit because they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So maybe that's kind of the case with the Kinect at this point.
Gotcha. The app developers are saying that what they're working within Kinect isn't that impressive.
Yeah, something like that.
That seems crazy to me, knowing like the demos and examples of what like Kinect can do as far as like
super
reading
capable.
Heart rates and being able to tell when you're putting weight on certain muscles and.
But see, I don't know outside of like maybe Ubisoft with their fitness shit. Like I don't know another developer that's kind of cracked that yet. Like I feel like you could have an indie game that's like a staring contest. You know what I mean? Like how still can you keep your face and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's that accurate, but it's just.
What would be cool? You're talking about that. It'd be cool to have like this like little like iPad game where all it is like it tries to scare the shit out of you just by increasing the intensity of whatever the image is. So you look at it and the camera's like reading. Yeah. It's reading your skin tone and your heart rate and such, and it's just like the image is getting more and more intense until it finally is like you lose.
Yeah. I mean, like that stuff's that accurate, but it just seems like developers are either not using their time and resources to harness any of it, or maybe they're not getting what they want out of it. Like what I'm saying with like Naughty Dog can make the PS3 do things that Ubisoft doesn't have the time to learn, make it do. You know what I mean? So let's move on. In a move that shocked no one and made more people just sigh and cry, Sony dropped the registered trademark for Last Guardian, but don't worry, they got it back. So apparently that's still happening. Yeah. So moving on.
They got it back.
Yeah, they did. Apparently it was like an accident. They accidentally dropped it.
Yeah, it was like an administrative error. Someone just
let it run
somehow out. It didn't like re-up or something.
Well, when we were writing the script for last week's show, for like 2 days, that was a big deal, and then apparently it came back. They were like, "Oh, just kidding, never mind."
Well, for me, I think I said on the show before. It was as of like the last Tokyo Game Show. I was just like, if we don't hear anything or see anything of it, then I'm gonna just sort of like.
Going into that show, that felt like the right time.
Yeah, and I just thought if I don't see anything or hear anything at this point, like if it comes out, I'll be excited to play it, but I'm no longer sitting here going, give me the fucking Last Guardian, as much as I'd like to play it down the line. It's just like, forget it. If it comes out, great, I'll play it. I hope it's good, but I'm no longer yearning for it like every fucking day.
You're no longer yawning? All right.
Yes, I know. It's not my.
I will no longer yarn.
It never is my day.
I'm no longer yawning
with the English language.
So the next news piece: Microsoft shutters the studio working on Phantom Dust remake, but the game is still being made. No.
So they didn't. By that, I understand it as being like they closed the studio. That's not. But they didn't really close the studio.
Yeah, that's not correct. They've basically released them from the contract. They let them go from the contract to work because that wasn't it's not an internal studio. It's a contracted studio that was working on that.
It just so happens without that job, they can no longer run their business. So.
Yeah, it sounded like basically that studio couldn't operate without that income actively happening.
So
what's up?
I was really excited for Phantom Dust, right? I was like one of the
Still be excited, man. It's okay.
No, but here's the thing. So I was like one of the 5 guys when this was announced, right? That was like
5 Guys sounds delicious.
Yeah. I know I shouldn't have said that either because I was like I said it and I was like, but what about the fuck Phantom Dust? I want them burgers.
I know, right? But yeah, you're excited.
Yeah, I was really excited for this, and then there's this this studio has been dissolved or shut down or released or whatever, and that's fine. But I'm wondering, I want to know why. That's all I want to know. I just want to know why because is it I heard some speculation on some other podcasts this week. Was it kind of a ploy and get it and saying oh no, listen, we're making a new Phantom Dust. Remember that game that you guys liked, that cult classic? We're gonna make that, and then it's oh, never mind. Now that we're doing well, we don't really need to focus on that dumb shit. Or is it simply a matter of that company fulfilled what they need to be doing, and now Microsoft is going to pick it up and say, all right, we got it from here, guys. Don't worry about it. Well, I don't know. I want it to come out. I want to play it.
I don't see it being a fulfillment thing. I just imagine it more. I mean, I saw the comments from the developers saying, top Microsoft executives or whatever came by and just the day before releasing us saying they liked what we saw. But the reality was they were probably being a little polite at that time, and they probably saw it. These guys were contracted to make the game. They probably just saw it and were at the end of the day reported back and said, listen guys, take a closer look at this. I don't think this is exactly where we need it to be now, what we were hoping it was going to be, and we've got to let these guys go because we don't have time or confidence in them anymore. But this is all just speculation as well. But I could see it totally being.
But I will say that Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, you don't know somehow. Phil Spencer came out and said, that Phantom Dust is still happening. It's still coming. He confirmed well after this news kind of blew over.
Totally. They've been talking about how important
it's still going to be a thing.
They've got to fill that. They want that JRPG sort of thing. They've got to fill. Phil's about filling these pockets that they don't have, and that's one of those games that's a big one for them. So,
I'm confused though. I don't. How do you do this and still release it this year? That's not happening.
Did they say it was coming this year? I
think when they announced it, it was implied that it was coming this year, but I don't see. And I guess what I was going to say is I don't see this being on their stage. I don't think we see Phantom Dust till next year. Till next
year. Yeah,
all right, we have some more speculation as to whether or not Predator and Spawn will be in an upcoming Mortal Kombat X. There was this. So apparently someone.
They gotta be, especially Predator. Come on, man.
Someone made a fan thing of Predator and Scorpion facing off, just an image, and apparently that got so popular that NetherRealm was all right. So they just, that's happening.
And Drew, I think you nailed it on the head on Facebook. I saw you make a post wait a minute, isn't he like Reptile? And so
he's already in the thing, right? They already have characters
like
Cyrax and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why it's so perfect though as well.
Why fuck not? Yeah.
Oh, put him in there, man. His visual
they had Freddy Krueger already. Style. You know what I mean? They had characters. I feel at this point, NetherRealm could just make a slasher fighting game where you play as Candyman, Pinhead, Jason.
I would.
That would be awesome.
Witchmaster, just do it. Just Chucky, fucking Chucky, bouncing around like Yoda from Star Wars.
Totally. They could just do it an offshoot. It would just be an offshoot of Mortal Kombat because they would have to they'd have to have in their own cool fucking fatality shit. But
that's
just maybe
their
don't
own
have fatalities.
Mortal Kombat versus slasher heroes or whatever. So the other half of that though is Spawn. Todd McFarlane was quoted saying that he is totally cool with Spawn being in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he's given them permission, but with there's a window to it.
We'll just pop over from the Soul Calibur universe and tear some shit up in Midway's universe. And
Soul Calibur control scheme all of a sudden.
Oh shit!
So that's super weird. Mortal Kombat X also had a story trailer, and Mortal Kombat X looks fucking awesome.
Yep, day one for me.
Rory, you were happy with the story trailer. I didn't like it. I was kind of bummed by the story trailer.
I wasn't like the reason I like it, and to clarify as well, because I did say this is the game that seeing that story trailer solidified the fact that I'm going to buy this game.
Yeah.
And it's less so that I was looking at the story from a quality point of view either, as far as storytelling goes, and some of the lines of dialogue and the voice work and stuff. It's simply down to the fact that I'm playing a fighting game, and it started with the last Mortal Kombat, when they rebooted it essentially with just Mortal Kombat.
I heard that one had a great campaign.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. You were playing through a genuine sort of story mode, and there's context to the fights and little sequences that happen before and after, and seeing the production and the scale of what's coming in Mortal Kombat X is I'm just yes, fuck yes, because I play fighting games mostly with friends when they come over locally, right? That's what the fighting games are all about. Right. But because Mortal Kombat has these insane tower challenges and this really fleshed out cinematic story experience in the sense, fuck yeah, man, I'm into that. It means I'm going to play this game when my friends aren't around as much as I'm going to be playing it when they are, which is
really. They're doing some really interesting things with the. They're doing some really interesting things with the multiplayer, the way they're doing that was some other news that came out, but I can't remember what the deal was with that. They're doing a factions thing along the lines of the way you would with the way in Elder Scrolls Online's PvP. If there's a faction that is sitting on the throne, essentially winning at the time, you get bonuses and stuff like that, and they're gonna be doing that in Mortal Kombat, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna you can ally any character with your
Yeah, each week, if whoever's winning gets a bonus thing or whatever, and the guys in Giant Bomb were saying what if you get a special fatality that your faction has they're winning? There's so many cool things they can do with this, and I think it's just so fucking awesome that these guys are still making this game because they fucking love this shit.
Yeah, and they're really this is really going to help the community grow as well, in the sense that even when you're if I'm playing by myself at home, or even if I jump into the odd match online, those matches are now counting to some greater thing because I probably joined some team. So it means every time I'm fighting online, I'm contributing to the greater whole of some network that I'm part of, which is really fucking cool.
It's just more RPGification of every genre there is. I'm just waiting for the crew, a fighting game equivalent of the crew, where you and your crew go in and start fighting people. Let's make the Warriors online.
In a broad sense, every game is a RPG, just defined by a role-playing game. We play a different role, a different character in every game, it's just the gameplay itself, mechanics are different, but...
So, let's see. Forza Horizon 2 is getting a Fast and Furious movie tie-in that is standalone and free. That's fucking rad. 11 new cars that are exclusive to this, but it's free. You don't even have I don't even have Forza Horizon 2. I'm totally getting this.
It's standalone and free. It's an amazing marketing deal. It's something that's going to help Forza Horizon 2 get back into the spotlight. Fans of the movie that aren't into games will see this and be like, "Whoa, what? I can I get this?" Because it'll be marketed somehow on TV as well. The people will download this free thing, and it's built on Forza Horizon 2, which is one of the best fucking racing games out there. So they're gonna play this and go, "Holy shit, this is awesome! I want to play more of this." Oh, Forza Horizon 2. Here we go.
Just such a, coming for someone who's back in retail, it's just such a value proposition. Hey, you get this free thing that is fucking awesome. Go for it. Why not? Why wouldn't you get an Xbox One?
Free for a limited time too, though, right? So
it's for 2 weeks. It's the week leading up to the release and the week before that.
Yeah, so people want to jump on it then.
The end of this comes out the end of March, the last week of March, something like that. So speaking of things that come out in March, GTA Online Heists finally coming to GTA 5. For the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Xbox One, and the PS4. However, GTA 5 on the PC has been pushed back to April 14th. So
they've been waiting long enough. What's
still don't own that game?
They like to like give with one hand and take it away with the other.
Like, I love how it's even in the same fucking like promotional image. It's like a image, and it's like, by the way, guys, fucking March 10th, you're finally getting high. And so here's the new PC launch.
This PC release that we've pushed back like 6 times.
I have not played this game yet because I've been waiting on the PC version.
Rockstar does. They also smooth it over by adding like right after that they launch some new screenshots of what it'll look like on PC, right? So everybody once again like, oh, okay.
I don't want to see it. It looks fantastic on the Xbox One. Like I can't imagine it looking better. Like I don't even if I'm sure it can, but I just don't even
look at the PlayStation 4 version and then you can see that it'll look better.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'll post screenshots on Sony Bravia. So like my Bravia makes everything look like it's on a PS4.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good and bad news. Some interesting news that just came out today. Valve is partnering with HTC to release their own VR headset called the Vive, which
is a dumb name.
Why is it called that?
It's a dumb name.
It was like somebody was like,
and it's
what if we called it the Vive? And then someone was like, okay, we'll call it that. And no, I was just kidding. Why would we call it that? No, we're really going to call it that. No, all right, whatever. Fucking go for it. Who cares? Because, I mean, Valve's got some interesting names. You know, Valve, Steam coming through Valve, blah, blah, blah. Like Portal, Counter-Strike, Half-Life. Like, they have cool names of things. Where did you come up with Vive? Did you let HTC name this thing? What the fuck?
Yes. That's the only thing I can imagine. Like that is not a fucking Valve-approved name.
So I'll read a little bit from the Game Informer article I picked this up from. There's a YouTube video, like, announcement thing or whatever that looks weird. I haven't watched it yet. The Vive will have two 1200 by 1080 displays with 90 frames per second refresh rates. It will allow for full 360-degree viewing and a, quote, full room scale experience, which will let users get up and walk around in a 3D space. Gyro sensors, accelerometers, and laser position sensors, apparently this thing is just fucking the future in a box, are being used to track head movement. HTC will also release a pair of wireless controllers that will work with the Vive. That part I'm a little confused about. The reason I think this is cool is because I have the HTC One M8. It's a cell phone, and that thing is, like, for build quality, that thing is amazing. It's so great. It's the best phone of last year, period. I wouldn't even need a new phone except I had a chance to get a Note 4, which is like it's a phablet. It's fucking huge, and I got it for free. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. But there's a video. It says HTC also announced work with creative partners like HBO, Lionsgate, and Google for non-video game experiences, specifically for the Vive. Now I'm already doing that. That's terrible. Developer of the edition. I think we're going to see this at GDC. So I don't think GDC wasn't this weekend, right? Yeah. It's next weekend.
No, it's I guess it's next weekend. But no, Valve came out and said that they were going to show. This was just before that news broke. Last week they said that they were going to be showing at GDC the final version of the Steam controller, which is probably going to be the wireless device that it is. And they'll be showing their virtual reality headset, which I guess it's all leaked now.
There it is.
But yeah.
Hey, so have they been showing off that controller recently at all? Like, is it still the
latest version of it? I don't think I've seen it.
Trackpads, right? Like, it's got the.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a newer version either. I mean,
There's like 50 iterations of that thing, so who? Yeah. I mean, it's.
And in a lot of their promo material, they're using that weird. What is it? It's the Logitech like 910 or something controller, like standard general PC controller you see everyone using. Yeah.
That's terrible.
I've seen a lot of promo material for Steam boxes and stuff using that, and I'm like, well, that's
okay.
That's dumb.
Yeah. Steam boxes, man, this is not necessary. So this is happening. So we had a quick conversation in the Facebook group. We'll talk more about VR in the future, but is HoloLens a sidestep permanently, or do you think Microsoft's going to come out with their own VR headset as well? Where do you weigh in on that, Rory?
I don't know. I could see them sticking with the HoloLens thing and not jumping into the VR thing now. At this point, if they don't show anything VR related at E3 because it's gaming focused maybe with the VR, whereas opposed to that augmented reality setup with HoloLens is a much more like universal application and piece of hardware.
Right.
If we don't hear anything at E3, it's at that point where I'll probably be like, oh, well, maybe they'll just stick with investing in HoloLens and adapt that for Xbox One in the future as well, because it's a totally different thing. And it just takes so much time and money. I just feel like they're not going to split all that up. I feel like Microsoft's going to really just go, head forward into this HoloLens stuff.
I was having a conversation about that, and he was basically saying, why would they do that? Why don't they just let the Oculus Rift be compatible with the Xbox One? And I think that's what Oculus ultimately wants. They want the Rift to be compatible with like everything, Android, iOS, whatever. But with Sony kind of announcing their proprietary one, and now with Valve saying like, "Hey, we're doing one," which will obviously be the PC one if this thing takes off. I don't know where the Xbox gets its VR experience at that point. Like
I think you nailed it though. I just think that's where it would go, is as some sort of third-party rebranding, even if it's not from Oculus. Somebody else will just take that technology and create something that can be adapted.
PDP makes an Afterglow VR headset for the Xbox One.
Who knows? But I mean, that's where I would see Microsoft really going at this point. If we don't hear anything at E3, I think they'll personally focus their efforts on the HoloLens at the moment anyway, for the next few years. And if they need to, they will spend all that fucking money and spare cash they have at licensing somebody to sort of say, hey, let's make this thing. Oculus, guys, Facebook, let's make this deal and get this running on the Xbox.
That's what Valve's doing, right? They're having HTC build it.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll see. We'll see where the fuck that goes. I know there's a whole lot to say about VR and stuff, but that's for a future episode.
Yeah.
The last news piece I want to touch on is Batman is rated M, yo. Because we bought Batman. What's up? We own Batman now. Wait, that's not what that means.
Free bat nipples for everybody.
Bat nipples. Bring out the bat nipple. So Rocksteady is making the first adult Batman media thing ever. There's never been an R-rated Batman movie. There's never been a mature-rated Batman
anything outside of the graphic novels, really.
What about, I ask, what about Mask of the Phantasm? Was that not rated like...
No, I think that was a really strong PG-13, maybe 14A in Canada, which wouldn't have been 18R. I don't think that was...
Still a teen thing.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gone into that 18 and over category.
Yeah. Well, this is... Alright, so I'm going to read the quote. Sefton Hill, founder of Rocksteady and the game director for Arkham Knight, said, "From our point of view, we never wrote it or made it with a rating in mind. We never did that in the previous two games. We just felt the story. Hold on, I can't read because I'm like glancing around. We just felt that this is the story that we really wanted to tell." I did hear some kind of quote that he was saying he was really hoping. I guess at the first pass, Warner Brothers had come back saying like, yeah, you need to cut these scenes or whatever, like specific things that they knew.
I don't think they said you need to cut it. The way I understood it was that Warner Brothers did say, hey guys, like these 3 scenes or so and such could pose a problem for you. Yep. And then the guys and then the guys were kind of well, like this
They're
is
like,
sort
fuck.
And Warner Brothers came back, or whoever it was, the publisher said. Well, you know what? It's a story that you guys want to tell.
Yeah.
We trust you. And they said,
see, I got so much mad respect for Warner Brothers after that, dude. That's like, these guys are making... There's a reason Arkham has been so well received, and it's because they love this shit. It's just like with Alien Isolation. Like, those people loved the first movie. They loved Alien. They want to recapture that vibe, and they did it. And, I mean, when you see someone working on a project or a property that they really care about, you're going to get a good quality project. I mean, look at South Park. There's a reason Stick of Truth was fucking amazing. And it was because it was mostly handled by the people who make South Park as good as it is. So I think this is all good news. It's just this is kind of a historic moment, right, Rory? It's a moment where...
It is, for sure. The reality is, like, we got to trust Rocksteady as well. Like, there's no way they earned an M rating because they were just like, oh, guys, like, we need to
Harley Quinn's nipples fall out of her shirt
we need to
on
up the gore here, or it's just not violent enough. Like, they wrote their story. It's going to be rated M because of like thematic, the themes that are happening in the game, and it's going to be dark and heavy. But it's not going to be like some gratuitous thing.
It's probably just like little moments that are just technically push it over that edge. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Just like probably really emotionally intense moments. Like it's going to be involving like the story itself, and not just some gratuitous violence for the sake of it. Whatever's in there, it's to support this vision that Rocksteady has to basically close out their trilogies.
Yeah, this is the end of the Arkham series. It's the end of the Arkham. It's the end of Batman games from Rocksteady, so this should be pretty final, I'm hoping. So why don't we talk about our question of the week, or our topic of the week, which is a question, are video game reviews important? Before we answer that question, we're going to give a little bit of context to it with the fact that The Order 1886 reviewed, interestingly, a couple weeks ago. It came out, and generally people were like, this sucks. The reviews themselves were...
I would argue that, though. I don't know if they would generally say it sucks. I think generally it was, you know what, it's okay, it's mediocre.
The reaction of the internet. So I'm not talking about like specific people, like Jeff Gerstmann didn't come out and be like, don't buy this game. I'm just saying that like people reacted pretty negatively, especially for the fact that this was a very big AAA title for the PlayStation 4. It was kind of a high-profile game, and it's releasing in fucking February when nothing is coming out.
Right.
So people were really hoping that it would be really great, and then reviews came out, and the subject of reviews came up a lot because I think people really wanted to like this game, right?
Well, exactly, though. But I think it came up a lot, too, because a lot of the stuff I saw exploding on the internet was a lot of people defending something they hadn't played yet either, right?
Yes.
And because they were so invested in this game,
and then I can shit on it because I saw all these reviews and watched all these videos, but I've never played it.
Well, it's just the nature of the beast, right? There's so many people. It's usually the vocal minority that you hear the loudest, it's just the way it is.
So we asked our Facebook group, by the way, go to facebook.com/groups/ratedmpodcast if you want to join our community. It's where the majority of our people are. We interact quite a bit with you guys there. We asked our community, are video game reviews important? And we got 13 yeses and this looks like 6 no's. So a pretty resounding yes, but we got a lot of, little just responses of like people kind of articulating how they felt about it. But I want to just go through us real quick and see what we have to say and see how that lines up with the community. So Alex, how do you feel about video game reviews? Are they important? Why?
Absolutely. I think that especially if we look at 2014, 2015, like the tail end of 2014, at all these games that are released, these big fresh or not fresh, sorry, but these big like franchises. Yeah. Your Halos and Assassin's Creed and everything else, and all these games that came out broken, was the big thing. That was the biggest thing. You look at that and you say, I like Assassin's Creed. I'll buy Assassin's Creed day one. I'll pre-order it. I'll buy the Omega Edition and whatever, right? And then what happens is you get your game and the motherfucker's broken, or the story is gimped, or whatever it is. There's a giant negative glaring hole there that you didn't know anything about.
Do you need a review to tell you that?
Absolutely, because if I buy a game, right? It used to be that there were certain franchises, Zelda, and it still is kind of to an extent. Zelda's one of those franchises. A Zelda game comes out, I'm there day one to buy it. I know it's going to be good, and that hasn't failed me yet for that particular franchise, but others have. And there are a lot of times where I've spent money and really wish that I could go back and say, damn it, why did you pre-order that game? If you had just waited 3 days after that game came out, you would have had all the reviews, and you would have had all the internet chatter, and everything would have blown over, and you could formulate your decision based on educated and based on other people's mistakes. Yeah. And I think that is something that is still very important. Now, what I do think about reviews is to take them with a grain of salt. I don't think that anyone should look at it as first off, you shouldn't compare a numbers rating system game. You shouldn't compare it game to game. If one game gets a 7 and another game gets a 7, it could be 2 totally different 7s for 2 totally different.
Yeah, they're not in an order. They're not in a line. Like,
totally.
Like if you're an 8, you're up here, and that means fucking.
It drives me nuts when I see like, wait a minute, NBA 2K got like an 8.5, but Uncharted got a 9. Does that mean like but whatever? It's just like guys,
NBA 2K is almost as good as Uncharted.
So my takeaway, like my advice to anyone listening would be sample reviewers, and find someone that you like. Maybe not even writing style or personality, but find someone whose game preferences closely mirror yours, and follow their reviews on items. If you can, or at least, or even just an outlet if you can't find an individual writer. That is going to greatly help you in trying to determine like which reviews are important and which ones aren't.
Yeah, because I agree with that, Alex, too. And just you don't even have to read the ones that you agree with, because I just read a bunch of there is no like particular reviewers where like I'm like I trust these guys every time and these are my go-to guys. If they like it, I'll like it. It's just like I read at least 5 sort of reviews. I'm always at IGN first, and then I just hit up Metacritic and I go down some of the big guys and just grab their reviews out of there. And even the guys that don't agree with my taste, I still use those just to inform my decision.
Yeah, you may as well. And that kind of goes for anything.
Just read it. Too many people dive.
Gaming on Thrones host Phil Stella says pretty much the exact same thing. He says reviews are important, but only in doses. Align yourself with a select few who share your interests and tastes, and stick with them. Do not listen to too many, and don't listen to a review from someone who does not share your particular game interests, and that's just his 2 cents. I'll play devil's advocate and say that works, but at the same time, that could potentially put you in a bubble where you don't get to experience things that you didn't know you were going to like. So obviously that helps with you finding out whether or not the next Zelda or the next Metroid or the next Halo is what you want to get, because you're familiar with those franchises. But when it comes to reviews of games that like maybe you're not familiar with, like, oh, I've never played a Saints Row game, so let me read this review of Saints Row, and it's from the guy that reviews all the other games that I like, but he didn't like it. But if you pay attention to like more than outside of your wheelhouse, not to just take everything they say at face value, to use that grain of salt, and use that that just rationality. But listening to a different perspective sometimes can help you, I don't know, branch out as a gamer and just kind of understand things from a broader perspective. Let's see, Rory, are video game reviews important?
Yeah, and for a lot of the reasons you guys have both stated. Alex is going on, and I was just sort of nodding my head in agreement. Like, for me, the final score isn't important, but I do appreciate seeing like numbers just so I can kind of just in my own head be like, oh, okay, this is where so-and-sos are like ranking it, and I can easily see it. Like right there, I just have this number. Does it mean anything? Not really. It's just, it helps me have this little internal thing in my head where it's like, okay, well, here's the games that most people are kind of considering in the 9 range, and not just having to like use all these descriptors and such. It's just like, there's a number, I get it. The thing is, like, too many people rush, I've kind of said this, and look at the score only, and they're not reading the actual reviews anymore. They're just like, oh, score, I'm going to scroll down to the page, and that's all I get. I'll read my pros, my cons, and they don't really have the context to it. Like, you always read the fucking words on the review, and that's how you figure it out, right? It's not a go-to. If somebody, like, for example, if I had read Ryan McCaffrey's, like, IGN review of Alien, and I put so much worth in a review that made me go, oh, well, I'm not going to play this game, then I would have missed out on what was one of my favorite games of the fucking year.
Yes, reality was, perspective you trust, if you had listened to them implicitly, you would have been like, oh,
well, exactly. I actually trust Ryan McCaffrey for the most part. I think he's a good writer. I think he's got good integrity when it comes to reviewing stuff. There are times where I'm a little bit like, you're such a fan of this. Maybe there's, it's sometimes hard for him. I find just a couple reviews, especially when he's doing his Halo stuff. There's a little bit of objectivity that I think gets like missed here and there. But overall, I really trust that guy's integrity and his skill as a reviewer. So on that said, I didn't look at that review and go, I'm not going to play this game because, even though I trust Ryan, he gave it a 6.5. That means it's no good, or whatever it was he gave it. Like, right. I used his words to inform my decision. And we also live in this bubble where we're on IGN, we're on all these other sites on a constant. We're in it. The mass market, most of the people that are buying games these things help. It's good to be able to go to a site and have a review and be able to see something easily that, like, if my mom's going to a website, I'd like her to be able to see, like, looking up adventure games and just see, like, oh, I want to see what the 9 and above games are. Like, that helps those people, like, just to break it down and simplify things and say which are considered the good games by the critics.
It's not like just because there's a review or a group of reviews out for a game and they generally scathe it or whatever, that doesn't, I mean, Led Zeppelin, when Led Zeppelin's albums came out, Rolling Stone like completely panned their albums, and it's fucking Led Zeppelin. So reviews are their perspectives, their opinions, and their
tools.
Their looks at something from a human's perspective based on their expertise. So maybe they have the expertise to critique something, and maybe they are lacking in understanding some kind of nuance or whatever, or they just have a different perspective than you do.
And it's usually it's like an extension of the previews. If you are in that bubble and you're following this stuff as well, it's still important in just that final. I mean, games are fucking expensive. You know, they've always been expensive. Like, that's a chunk to spend. And it's nice to know that some people have had the game for a couple of weeks and they're sharing an opinion on it. And again, it's just to inform your own opinion about it. It's not this final call, yes or no, I got to play this game, right?
And I would say, like, I think all of our responses fall in the line of, figure out what a review means to you first. So are they important? Yes, we all agree that they're important. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a deciding factor as to whether or not you purchase something. It can just be a tool that helps you decide if you need to purchase something or if you should avoid something. Or I think for me, reviews kind of help me learn how to pick apart a game that I just didn't realize what I was experiencing, and then someone put words to the feelings that I had. Mm-hmm. So I think an example would be in Fallout New Vegas. By all intents and purposes, I should fucking love Fallout New Vegas, and I don't. There's just something missing there for me. There's just something that didn't click, it didn't feel right. And reading reviews and kind of learning about the development process or technical terms or something that I just experienced as a gamer but didn't understand because I don't work in the industry, that was helpful. That was helpful for me to be like, oh, this is why I'm not enjoying this game. Thank you, Doctor whoever the fuck you are. It's a helpful tool, but it's not an end-all be-all. I mean, these scores are not, like a thing that gets stamped in the annals of time. Like, yes, Red Dead Redemption.
The question was, are reviews important, not are review scores important, correct?
No, absolutely. Right. Just reviews.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they are. It's information. At the end of the day, it's like the more information I know about something that I'm going to buy, the fucking better. I don't want to, like, be blindly going into a store and being like, oh, there's this, okay, the box art's cool. It sounds cool. On paper, it looks cool. It's $60, $70. I get home. It sucks. I can't open it and return it now.
They serve so many purposes, right? I mean, like, if you didn't have review scores, you would just have hearsay from your bro who lives down the street who's like, nah, bro, Destiny's shit. Like, okay, well, that's the thing. Destiny's shit. Yeah. I didn't know. Like, it fucking beats me.
The one thing I really want to say about reviews and review scores in particular is, Roy touched on it. If you're going to go to a review site to look at, a game's reception, right?
Yeah.
Don't just look at the number and the pros and cons at the bottom of the page. This is a website which, hopefully, say IGN, for example, pays professionals and experts in their field to play these games and review them. And they took the time to write 2,500 words on a game. Read it. It's going to take you 10 minutes, and that's going to give you way more information than... Now, like Roy said, I like the idea of numbers or stars or whatever, a rubric that you can kind of quick look at. But definitely read the reviews every time. It's going to give you a lot more information and a lot more color.
Totally. Yeah. You can just as easily read somebody saying, like, I don't like this about this game, and then you're reading that and going, but, oh, you know what, though? I kind of like that stuff about my games.
Right.
So, you can read the review, and he could be talking negatively.
I mean, just because his perspective is the negative spin, that doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I mean? Like, it's his perspective.
You can read a bad review and actually take a lot of good stuff away from it.
Some of the other community responses are Steven. He doesn't go by Steve. Steven said that both. He thinks that they are and they aren't important. Numerical scores are bullshit, according to him, but at the same time, a well-written 500 or so article could also be kind of shit. Like it all depends. It just depends. I think what he's trying to say is it depends on what if that person properly analyzed. You know what I mean? If somebody was like, oh, this racing game like that has Drivatars in it is shit the day it came out because none of this stuff works or whatever. Like, okay, but is the game fun? Does it drive really well? Like, would I enjoy it? And that's when you have to find out for yourself. You have to really look into it and research it and stuff. Let's see. Somebody else said, David from Podcast Evolve said that he falls into the camp that finds a review useful in some cases, but he generally doesn't agree with the assigning of a final score to a game. There was a reason we wanted to bring some of this stuff up, and I don't have the details, but I do know that generally a lot of these gaming sites, Eurogamer has completely dropped scores, Polygon has completely reapproached how they're doing scores. It's just changing, and I think that's a symptom of multiple things at this point. When you ask, are video game reviews important, I think we all agree that reviews and criticism, especially in today's world where you look online to find out whether or not something is good, because that information is out there for you, and other people are already getting hands-on with something that you don't have yet. That concept is just good. I mean, Amazon. Look at Amazon. Can you imagine removing all of the reviews from anything on Amazon? You would never fucking know what to get. Like, you would have no clue where to start because there's so much product in your face. Imagine iTunes, the iTunes store, with no review process, no lists or anything. You just got to search. Action game, 35 million things. Okay, this one. I don't know. Like, how the fuck do you know? So they're useful bumpers, they're useful guides, right? But in today's world with video games, when every game is online or has extensive patching, extensive changes to the game, Destiny today is a completely different game than it was when it launched in September. Diablo 3 is a totally different game than it was 2 years ago. Like, they've completely removed systems, changed things. The fucking DLC brought on so many changes, and they're constantly doing it different every season of these leaderboards and stuff, brings out more items and stuff. These games change constantly. So in the old days, we used to get a Game Pro or a Game Informer or Nintendo Power, and it would be like, this thing has this kind of fun factor. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, so apparently it's pretty fun.
Well, I like that stuff. It's a personal preference. Like, a review, if it's just a number, it means nothing. If it's all about context and supporting it with the words, and just again, it's all just a fucking opinion, right? Like, that's why you see so much varying stuff with the order, like we're talking about. Like, some people think it's like not worth your time or money, and it's a waste of time. And other people think it's as high as an 8.5 even. It's just like it depends on what you like, So I don't know.
I think
the more opinions we form our own, the better.
I think in today's world, when you see more and more video reviews, when you see more and more pages that are just like constantly updated, I don't fall in the camp personally of saying like find that one person or find that couple people who have the preferences that you do and stick with them. But I would say, do that, like find those people so that you have kind of a, what's the scientific term, when you're trying to test against, they're your control. Like, if that person reviews the racing game, if they're the gearhead that you're like a big fan of, and they review the racing game and say this racing game is shit, you're inclined to be like, okay, well, he knows this racing game is apparently shit. But then listen to what other people say and take that into account. A lot of the preview stuff that came out for Destiny, there were a bunch of people that went to preview events for Destiny who were not first-person shooters. Like they just happened to be available at the time because there were other things going on, and they went and they came back saying like, this game is just any old thing, it feels like Halo, blah blah, who cares? But then the alpha came out and everybody who actually gave a shit got their hands on, and they gave reviews and they gave their impressions, and they were like, this feels amazing, it's tight, it's blah blah blah, there's just these RPG elements that aren't really fully fleshed out. Like, it gave you context, it gives you perspective, and I think that the old world of like just stamping a number on something and saying this is a 5, there you go, forever, that's gone. And so, like you guys were saying, the more the better, right? Like, the more perspectives, the more information, the better. So I think I got everybody that was in our community. Colin wrote a book. If you want to read Colin's book on how he feels about video game reviews, go to facebook.com/groups/RatedM podcast. If you want to learn more about Rated M for Podcast in general and the Rated M Gaming Network that it is a part of, go to ratedmgaming.com. That's r8dmgaming.com. You can check us out at r8dmgaming.com/aboutrated_M. And I think that's going to do it for this week. I want to remind everybody, please join us next weekend. We're going to be doing a live show. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm going to be playing video games as much as possible all day, and we are forever grateful to be able to talk to you guys for a whole fucking year about video games. So, unless anybody else has anything else to say...
No.
I
will just add that I'm stoked for next week too. Like we'll have a good stream, and we'll see what we can do. We'll have some fun segments. We'll try and make it a really unique day of streaming.
I definitely want to. I think we're gonna have a fucking blast, and I hope that it kind of indicates where we're gonna be going for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So for another year. Alex, anything for you, man?
Yeah, man. I would just like to, again, just mirror what you guys are saying. I mean, it's weird that I haven't been here for the full time, so you guys are kind of old hat. You know what I mean? You guys are the old guard.
You knew it was here, though. You knew it was going on.
Yeah, I knew it was going on, and I'm just like I've kind of loosely been in the community since the beginning and stuff, and it's just really neat to see it all kind of coming to where it is today, and I'm super excited for where we're going. So. I'm in your boat, Drew. I'm going to try to be on as much as I can Sunday. I'm going to see if I can't square away most of the day to just sit in my room and play video games. So.
Hey, real quick.
What's up?
Alex and I have a history. We started a thing called.
Yes.
After that. We started a thing called Capital City Gamers. You just relaunched that sort of. Do you want to give a quick spin as to what the fuck that is now?
Sure. Yeah, so Capital City Gamers, before Drew and I did something similar to kind of like what Rated M is now. It was a gaming community.
Yeah.
I have since rebranded it because Drew moved on to Rated M. I ended up moving on to Rated M. Capital City Gamers just kind of fell apart. But I've kind of kept the URL and kept the website running. So what I'm doing now is I will be customizing handhelds, which is something I do in my time anyway. I customize video game consoles and video game handhelds with different paint jobs, decals, electronic mods and stuff. Front lights,
pimp that shit out.
Yeah. Yes, it is very much pimp that ride or pimp my ride for video.
You're like the exhibit of PSPs.
I like that. Pimp my console.
Can that be my official title? The exhibit of PSPs.
The exhibit of Game Boy Advance.
Perfect. Awesome. That is going to be my new tag.
X to the Z.
So anyway, yeah, Capital City Gamers has been rebranded for that. Look for some more information coming. I just finished a 3DS, my personal 3DS today, but I've got like 5 Game Boys, a bunch of Game Boy Advances. I got a Nintendo 64 waiting in my garage, being painted.
That's not a handheld console.
No, but they're all consoles and handhelds. That's the thing. I've got a separate for portables and for home consoles. So
that's fucking rad, dude.
And they'll be up for sale and everything. That's the idea.
So where can people keep track of that?
CapitalCityGamers.com is the website, but again, there are no products up right now, so just kind of bookmark that one. And then just go on Facebook, facebook.com/CapitalCityGamers.
So if they like that page, they can keep, if you have anything going on, and you'll post it, and they'll see that.
Yep, that page is going to be regularly updated as of today on. So.
Swag. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Don't forget to go check us out on iTunes and give us some ratings and show us some love. RatedMGaming.com. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.